Hello friends, today we will continue second chapter of social science of grade 7. Chapter name is the regional kingdoms and we are continuing with that. Our one topic is left, that is case study the Cholas. Cholas of Tanjore. The Chola Empire arose in the 9th century by capturing the Pallava subordinates, Muthiars family ruling in the Kaveri Delta, and the Chola dynasty was founded by the Vijayala. ये इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन बन सकता है कि हु फाउंडेड द चोला डायनेस्टी. Okay, they brought under their control a large part of Deccan Peninsula. What do you mean by peninsula? Peninsula वो area होता है, the area of the land that is almost surrounded by water. Okay, and Deccan का meaning क्या होता है? साउथ वाला पार्ट, जो साउथ वाला एरिया. Okay, the Cholas also developed a powerful navy that enabled them to develop India's sea route in the Indian Ocean and to conquer the Sri Lanka and Maldives Island. Their influence was felt even in the countries of Southeast Asia, and the Chola Empire marked a climax in South Indian history. ये इस सभी का मीनिंग यही है कि चोला एम्पायर्स की क्या अचीवमेंट्स रही हैं, उन्होंने कौन कौन से एरिया को कॉन्कर किया है. साउथ वाला जो एरिया था दैट वाज द मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट area that they conquered at that time. Okay, next we have the greatest Chola rulers were Raja 985 to 1016 AD तक and his son Rajendra I जो जिन्होंने रूल किया. Raja destroyed the naval force of the Jairas of Trivandrum. He also defeated the king of the Pandya dynasty and conquered the Madurai. Madurai कहाँ पे लोकेटेड है? तमिलनाडु में. Okay. He invaded Sri Lanka, annexed its northern part of its empire. By these conquests, he wanted to bring the trade with the Southeast Asian country under their control. Another of his naval victory was the conquest of Maldives Island. इसमें जो naval मीन्स की जो शिप रिलेटेड है या पोर्ट रिलेटेड जो भी उन्होंने कॉन्कर किया एरिया उसके बारे में बताया हुआ है. And Rajendra I and his successor continued the policy of the annexation by defeating the Pandyas and Cheras and making their territory part of the Chola Empire. The conquest of Sri Lanka was also completed. Sri Lanka was not able to free herself from the Chola control of another 50 years. This means they rule over Sri Lanka for 50 years. That is such a long time. Next we have Chola inscription. Inscription you already know. We have also read this term in the first chapter. Inscription means writing carved into wood, metal, or it may be on stone. Give us a lot of information regarding the conquest, administration, trade, agriculture, people of the Chola Empire. जो चोला इंस्क्रिप्शन है वहाँ से हमें बहुत सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती है, जैसे ट्रेड कैसे चल रहा था, एडमिन का कैसे था, ये सब. दिस इंस्क्रिप्शन वर लार्जली फाउंड ऑन द वॉल ऑफ द टेम्पल एंड रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ द गिफ्ट गिवन टू द किंग. Another remarkable style of inscription found around these inscription done on the copper plate. ये जितनी भी inscription थी, as I have already told you, inscription means the carving on the metal also. So copper plate which were strung with each other with the ring. This ring was attached with the royal seal of the king, and the people of the Chola Empire was mainly peasants, farmers, and craftsmen. These inscriptions mainly contain the writing about the incident, assemblies, wars, conquest, land grants, people craft and the trade of the Chola Empire. जो भी ये इंस्क्रिप्शन है, इंस्क्रिप्शंस के ऊपर जो मेन इवेंट थी, जैसे असेंबली हुई थी या फिर कोई वॉर रिलेटेड कोई मेमोरी है या फिर लैंड ग्रांट की किसी ने, किंग ने, या किसी को भी जो भी एज अ गिफ्ट था, ये सारी जो मेन मेमोरीज हैं वो इन इंस्क्रिप्शन के ऊपर कार्व्ड है, क्रेव की हुई हैं. Next we have Chola administration. The king was the most important person, as we know, in the Chola administration. All authority rested on his hand, but he had a council of ministers also, जो कि उसको एडवाइस करते थे, गाइड करते थे time to time. The king often went on the tours in order to keep a connection with his subjects. The Cholas maintain a large army consisting of elephants, cavalry, infantry, which were called the three limb of the army. This question must be asked in the case study. What were the three limbs of the army of the Chola empires? Okay. Next, Next, we have the Cholas, also called a strong navy, and which dominated the Malabar and the Coromandel coast, and for some time the entire Bay of the Bengal. Okay, the Chola Empire was divided into mandalams or provinces, and they in turn into the mandalums or Nadu. इनके name ये रखे हुए थे. Okay, the Nadus were subdivided into further divided into Khurram or the village or the group of the villages. Means कि what were they called group of villages as a Khurram. Kurram, the smallest unit of the Gramam or villages. जैसे हम village बोलते हैं, they called it in their language Gramam. Revenue. The main source of income for the Cholas were the land revenue, were collected either by the kind of the village assemblies, two type of landlords, Brahmins and the rich farmer known as the Valalas, and cultivated land with the help of the Pariyars. The state's share was fixed at the 1/3 of the produce. जितनी भी production होती थी उसका divide by 3 they have to pay in form of tax. Other source of income were duty and toll tax and taxes and taxes on the mine or forest in the different professions. Next, irrigation facilities, agrarian expansion. Both the Chola government and the local authorities gave special attention to providing the irrigation facilities. जैसे फसलों को जो पानी वगैरह देना है, that also included in this. Apart from utilizing the water from the river Kaveri and the other river, Cholas also stored water in a huge tank. The people were very we can say wise, and they stored the water. Okay, the village assemblies were responsible for maintaining the tanks. The Cholas also spent huge amount for building canals, wells. Thus providing irrigation facility was an important responsibility of the state and the local assemblies. A sluice gate was used to regulate the water supply into water channel, which helped in irrigation of the field. This means they have a proper channelization of the water at that time also. Local self-government. Local self-government in the villages was a special feature of the Chola administration. Every village had a general assembly or people of all caste who owned land within the village were its members. Mahasabha or Sabha was the assembly in those villages where all the land were owned by the Brahmins. These villages enjoyed a lot of freedom. The affairs of the village were managed by the executive committee, whose members were either elected by drawing a lots of through rotation after every 3 years. There were several committees which looked after law and order assessments and collection and land revenues, and after the distribution of water, etc. The Mahasabha had a power to raise loans for the village and the impose taxes. They are saying they were conducted a Mahasabha or Sabha, just like an assembly, which can apply for the loan also for the villages for the welfare of the village they worked. Okay. Thus the local self government enjoyed the Chola village showed the democratic spirit. जैसे अब हमारी कंट्री में डेमोक्रेसी है, at that time also in Chola Empire the people enjoyed the democratic spirit of the Chola administration and their ability to delegate the power and responsibility to the local body. Means कि अपनी powers को delegate करना, means ये नहीं कि direct government ही वो करेगी सब कुछ, तो अपनी पावर्स जो है आगे फर्दर उसको डिवाइड करना. टेम्पल एंड द स्कल्पचर्स. द चोला witnessed an improvement in the Dravid art and architecture, and they built many temples in the Dravid style of the architecture, and the Brideshwar temple of Tanjore and Gangigonda Chalapur for the finest example of Chola architecture. They have been designated as the World Heritage Site. Bronze casting. It is a long history in the South India. A large number of bronze sculptures were found. Bronze statue, Lord of, and this is also a bronze statue of the Nataraj of dancing Shiva. Okay. ये एग्जाम्पल्स जो गिवन है यू हैव टू लर्न. जैसे कि जो प्रीवियस पेज पे बृहदेश्वरा टेम्पल गिवन है, ये तमिलनाडु आंध्र प्रदेश वाली साइड है. ओके, लॉर्ड शिवा इज एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ द वर्थ नोटिंग. हियर वी हैव डन आवर चैप्टर. थैंक यू.